How you start?
That's how I was feeling in the moment right there.
All right.
I was rocking out.
Hey. Okay.
Hey, y'all welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining Passing from Perfect. I'm Corey.
I'm Kainisha Grinner.
Happy Monday. What's the day?
Monday.
The date.
14.
Um, June 14th, 2021. We are back. We missed y'all last week.
On schedule.
On schedule, on time.
Regularly scheduled date.
Yeah, last week we missed y'all. We took us a break. Us break. I got off of work at 4:30 and showered and got in bed, and we didn't do nothing else for the rest of the day.
The new staycation.
That new staycation.
All right. So today, we were sent a couple of topics and a couple of things that people were interested in talking about. And I think it's pretty interesting and very important, nonetheless. Other than interesting, it's very important, and it's based in family. Family structures, hardships that families go through, how to get out of those troubles and get to the other side of things. Speaking mainly separation between a husband and wife or two spouses, where there are children involved and maybe assets and properties, things of that nature. Um, how to separate, how to divorce, when you should do it, um, how to blend families whenever both parents or one of the other parent starts over. Those are things that as a society we have failed in. Probably, I think it's not even a 50-50 thing as far as the success rate, where a couple splits and then everything just goes smoothly after that. You know, we do have our in studio producer here, so I can get her to look up some stats for me on those type of things. But in our community, definitely, and I'm not speaking necessarily to the Black community, but just the community that I live in. Uh, Couples of all races, I have seen some pretty hard and hard hit homes when it comes to separations and splits. But to get with the petty first, let's get with the petty first. We posted today something that someone sent us, and they were like, okay, this, you know, is this is pretty shady. Like, what should we do? What do you do? What would you do? And I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it. If you have a comment, let us know how you feel about it. But this is some real stuff. This stuff happens. People are surprised, like, what? But it happens, okay? So it says he separated from his wife of 10 years. Separated from his wife 10 years ago and started dating a new woman within the first year of the separation. During that time, he purchased a house for them, a new truck, upgraded her car, the new woman, and bought some land so that they could build a house in the future. He died unexpectedly. Should the wife let the other woman keep the cars, house, and land, or would you take it all? Would you, the wife, plan the funeral or allow her, the other woman, to plan it? No legal separations or divorce was ever filed. What do you do? How do you feel?
This is a woman question.
Is it?
The woman
I
is
feel it could go either way.
the
If
lady.
the shoe was the on the other foot, that is.
Oh, okay. I'm just sticking with the storyline right there. So yeah, y'all, if y'all saw me just zoned off into another direction, it was because somebody said we weren't playing on YouTube, so I was trying to get us right for YouTube. But we good. We rolling. Um, depends on, like,
Welcome, YouTube.
once thing is, gotta know the state you're in and how the state handles that. Because depending on the state you're in, legally, there was never a separation, there's never legal separation, never a divorce. That stuff is All that wife.
50%.
But half of it.
If they have children.
Yeah. It's
If they don't,
then it's her stuff. So
well, 50%. I think it would probably.
Yeah, we'd have to we didn't research that part
just
of it enough.
Just due to the fact that the other person is there, so their money would be assumed that their money is wrapped up into it.
Yeah. So I'm sure if he had any insurance policies or all that, unless he changed it, it was still in the wife's name. So she's going to get that money, and she's going to, I mean, she can bury him, cremate him. That's what I would do.
I mean, if there was insurance money to be had, I would get the insurance money as the wife, but you're his significant other, so you bury him.
So we're going to go with the special friend on the
I really wouldn't care what you put on
the eulogy.
The only way I would concern myself with this would be to support my children. If we had children together, their father just died, therefore I'm going to do what I can to support my children. I wasn't in the picture for 10 years. So obviously I know that I was not with this man. And if there is an insurance policy to be had, then, and it's in my name, then guess what? I just came up. But, his significant other can bury him. Y'all do what y'all do. I'm not giving you none of the insurance policy because you should have put one on in your name. But as far as your land and your houses and all that stuff, y'all can have that. That's y'all stuff. I don't want no parts of that. I wouldn't be that petty to 10 years is a long time. Okay, so for us to be separated for 10 years, neither of us had interest in each other, and I was probably living my best life as well.
It's all about the level of pity.
Right. I wouldn't be that petty. They tried to sneak that little jab in about he started dating her within the first year of the separation.
They separated.
So, they didn't get a divorce. So what difference it made?
So once again, it depends on the level of pity. And after 10 years, my thing is, why are you still separated 10 years and then moved on with no divorce? And people are trying to be like, well, why he ain't divorce her? Why she ain't divorce him? It's like the paperwork is the same. Like everybody, it don't matter who filed. We just need somebody to sign. Why? See, scenarios like that be hard for me because I need more details. Like, did somebody file for divorce? The other one wouldn't sign. Like, we just out here. Man, my level of pity. I'm gonna cash out on that insurance policy. Like, I'm getting the money. Like, if you didn't have enough sense that you've been
pretty much
the other woman for 10 years, because regardless of the separation point, legally they're still married. Right. Spiritually, they're still married. So if they believe that way.
No, spiritually they're divorced. Adultery. So if you believe that way.
So at this point, it's like all's fair in love and war in my eyes.
Well, I know that there are a lot of people who would say, "Oh, that's mine." Now, I don't know what you're going to do. You can get your 50%, but the rest of that is mine. So, you're going to give me half of everything y'all got, even though you've been helping to pay for it for the past 10 years. You should have got your business in order. Give me.
In order.
That's just the way the cookie crumbles for some people. Some people would be that bad. My question, though, on the other hand, is this. If you are the person who is the one bereaved of their former spouse,
after 10 years,
because you can't even say your husband or your wife because it's been 10 years. Like that wasn't
like that's my thing. Like, what are y'all what are you holding on to? Like, what's the plan here? Like, why there wasn't a divorce? That part that just won't, just keeps crawling at me. And then as the wife or the husband who's the ex,
right,
how like we have a comment that said, there'll be lots of emotion involved in making the final decision of the deceased. If the human can separate the emotion and the right, that's the right thing to do. He may end up in the ground by the wife. Children should take precedence. So,
I don't
depending
know.
on how old
It
the
depends
kids
on
are,
how old the children are, and at this point they're at least 10. So, my thing is this: if you have children with this person, and obviously they are at least 10 years old at this point, it would be best if you work with the other woman, his actual woman, to make this thing work out, because the children are the most hurt at this point. They
right?
lost their dad, um, if
Then
that's the case. But for me, you've done what you've done. You did your thing for 10 years. Now, it's been 10 years. Let's keep in mind, I'm naturally probably living as well, living my life too, which probably means more than likely I'm with somebody too. So, how does your significant other feel about you putting up all this drama about that man and his business?
but why? Like my thing is, once again,
If you decide to be petty, that is. If you decide to go to war with the other woman behind the stuff that they came together and did in 10 years,
10 years.
how does your now significant other feel about you kicking up so much dust about this?
Depends on who the significant other is and if they are part of this Max Petty. Baby, we finna cash out on this. We finna cash out on this that hurt you. And I had to heal you and bring and get you back to a happy place.
Bull.
On top of the fact that you ain't divorced him.
Bull.
And I've been here by your side.
On top of the fact, again, that you didn't divorce him.
Yeah, see,
that's even more drama. Because now it's like, so first of all, he was living and you couldn't let him go. Now he dead, you still can't let him go?
Well, you put yourself in that situation as the significant other, knowing she wasn't divorced and knowing she ain't been with that man in 10 years. My question would have been, man, before we get into a serious relationship, we need to get some closure, some finality here. Like I'm not jumping in 10 toes down with all my emotions and you still connected to your ex.
Hey, all valid points. I just feel like this is one of those not even slick petty. This is one of them petty situations where the bigger person just may not exist, because I don't know if I know a person who just would be like, that's your man, do what you gonna do.
I feel like the wife, the ex, the spouse, I can't even say wife, the spouse, husband, the bereaved, yeah, that person is gonna end up being the one having to be the bigger person. It's always ends up being that person, because even though y'all haven't been together for 10 years, and if y'all have kids together, the family is still gonna be looking at you like unless y'all had some kind of bad breakup or some mess, the family gonna be still like, that's still your, especially a black family. Tell you something, right? That's still your husband, girl.
Let me tell you,
y'all still married
right now.
He still loved you.
Let's use us, because we try to keep it in us. My child is 13. My baby is 13, and you are her father. And if we split today for 10 years and don't get a divorce, and something happens to you and you die,
which one of us the crazy one? Both of us?
I'm just trying to say, to the point you just made, your people better not come looking at me talking about that's still your husband.
Nala gonna bury me.
Was he not my husband for the 10 years he was running around with somebody? Why y'all talk to her?
That's Max Petty.
No, that's real. That ain't petty. That's straight up. Like, don't come looking at me. You talk about that still your husband.
My baby gonna
Actually,
bury me.
He's not. He's dead.
My baby gonna make sure I get buried.
She just might. She would have to. So, I'm just saying. I mean, when you put it the way you just put it, I'm just trying to tell you how I'm feeling about the situation. So, That was the petty post of the day. I mean, I was like reading this like, bruh, I'm cashing in on the policy, definitely, if the policy is in my name.
Yeah, I'm getting that bread.
Depending on how long we were actually married, because fun fact, state of Louisiana has some really tricky laws when it comes to marriages. If you don't know, you need to know. If you are married in the state of Louisiana, get up on the laws concerning marriage and divorce. So, fun fact, Louisiana married people, uh, if you were married to someone, let's say, if you're divorced now or possibly going that way, let us pray not. But if ever, this is just some news for you. In Louisiana, if you were married to someone for at least 10 years, 10 years, 10 years at least. So I'm trying to give you a hint for those who feel like y'all falling apart and it ain't been but 8. Try to stick it out for another 2 at least. 10 years, you still get half of that retirement. You get up to that point where he is in his 401k or his pension or whatever that is. 50% of that money up to that point is yours if you were married at least 10 years. So for that woman as well, if she had a policy, that's my money. If whatever 401k or retirement that was put to the side, if we were married at least 10 years before we separated, give me my percentage of that money. That's my money.
Cheaper to keep
The
her.
rest of that goes to my children.
Cheaper to keep her.
Because it's definitely his retirement and his pension. That's all legality. They can care less how long those people were together for 10 years. His next of kin is his wife and children, legally, on paper. Therefore, whatever his pension or 401k or any of that says, give me my percentage from when I was actually married to you. The rest of that goes to my children.
And for the most part, if you're petty enough to try to do anything outside of the insurance policy that you do, your name is on it, that's yours. Yeah, that's still petty. You just got 10 years of
That's
built
still
up.
my right, though.
I'm saying, to take the land and the cars and all that stuff he bought. Like, yeah, that's still an emotional connection that you got going on. That's some hurt you done held on for 10 years. You done took into other relationships and everything. Then finally now, like, okay. And then even crazier, because if that one wasn't somebody he cheated with on you,
with the first
and
year.
it's just somebody he met within a year and they start dating and they, you know what I'm saying? That woman ain't do you nothing. And she has been with him for 10 years. She's accumulated whatever it is they've gotten together. That's her stuff.
Right.
Don't like.
I know of a situation.
Calm as a mug. So when you step on somebody's throat like that, it's coming back.
Well, yeah. I know of a situation where someone was separated, not legally divorced. They just said they won't be with each other no more. One was in one state, the other one was in another. Life went on. 25 years later, he died. And she was on his obituary as his wife, and the significant other was special friend or didn't want to be put on there as special friend, or however that went. And they didn't even want to, acknowledge the lady. And he died in a hospital bed at her house.
At the special friend house?
They were together. She was taking care of him. He got sick, and she took care of him until it was all over. And then when the funeral time came, everybody was mad, talking about his wife. Like, they've been separated literally in 2 separate states for 25 years.
Hey, y'all stop getting y'all them special friends. Go on, get divorced and marry that lady. Let that lady have her title at the end. Especially she did. Like, I can speak from personal experience. I've seen within my own family multiple times special friend on both sides, male and female. I'm not just saying
special friend has extra children, and
special friend with kids and everything else. Y'all marry these people. if like,
Matter of fact, that's a perfect
or
segue.
at least divorce.
Right. That's a perfect segue into what the topic of it is today. Separating, divorcing, blended families. Like separating, if you are going to separate, literally get away from each other. I know today a lot of people feel like it's expensive out here, so they try to do this, you sleep over there, I'm gonna sleep over here type of stuff, you know. um you need to plan your separation if you can,
And if it take y'all a year to get away from each other, and you have to strategically plan this separation
together
together.
plan it.
I mean, involve the kids and everything. It's funny because Memorial Day weekend, we watching some comedians and a comedian, and he was saying that him and his wife laying in the bed one day and was like, "Man, I'm tired." He was like, "Man, this ain't working. I'm tired." And she was like, "Me too." He said, "I'm ready to be out." She was like, "Me too. I've been waiting on you to say this."
And they got excited together.
And they got excited together. Went to divorce court, and the lawyer told them they couldn't afford to get divorced. They couldn't afford to leave each other. So what they did, they started working together to plan their separation,
get enough money,
get all their financials in order to leave each other. And
the children
started helping. But by the time they got the money to divorce, they had fell in love again.
David Arnold, Fat Ballerina. Go look it up. It's Netflix.
But you have to plan it out. Like, real talk, we keep it 100. We was ready to go like, "Hey, man, this ain't working. Like, I love you, but this,
love you enough
to say, I want to see you happy, because right now we ain't neither one of us happy." And we had started the separation. We was planning like, look, Nala get out of school in May. If we start moving in June and July, we'll both have new residents. She can start school, and like, we had started working this out.
We literally lived on the street where there were two parents, and this is grown up stuff. It's grown folk-ish right here. There were parents where we would always see the little boy run from one unit to the next. And it was because his mother and father had split up and divorced, but they lived next door to each other for the sake of their child.
Yep, they were on the same street.
They were literally just like one unit over from one another.
Two kids,
so the
right?
little boy,
it was the girl and the boy.
The boy and the girl would run after school, and they would go home. But home was just another door over too. But that's what they decided to do for the sake of their kids. You know, so
now that's grown.
That's grown folks.
That's right adulted. There. That is co-parenting at its finest.
100%.
That means y'all really didn't want to be together, and y'all knew it. Y'all wasn't meant for each other. Y'all weren't compatible for each other. But y'all know y'all love y'all kids. Y'all wanted the best for those kids,
right?
And y'all were better as friends,
or not.
However it went, they were mature enough to be like, and I think both of them.
Say it again.
They were mature enough, and I think both of them had significant others. They didn't.
The mama did. She had kids, and then the daddy would watch
y'all having a sidebar conversation.
Y'all,
they off the rails already. We just started.
My director, we got our executive producer back in the house.
So when it comes to separating, for real, we need to like something on our flyer today. It said a community is only as strong as its families. Just because you can't stay together does not mean you can't still be a family. And so I think that for whatever reason, whatever your drama is in your relationship, people tend to drag that out past the expiration
date. The drama.
I like to say things have an expiration date. Like, there has to be an expiration date on what you're mad about. Like, how long do you plan on staying mad about that same thing?
Even if it's cheating, like, I understand for some people cheating is the end all be all. That's the worst thing that could possibly happen in a relationship. I get it. But if that's your thing, at some point you have to mature and move on. Like, you can't hold on to that hurt forever.
And somebody just said, when you said they hold my bill, watch this.
Yeah.
Because they hold it forever.
Like, we have a friend. She's in the chat right now. I used to, it boggled my mind that she would still, for the sake of her child, when she went back to see the child, she would stay with the ex. And I'm like, that's grown, that's mature, that's adulting, because it's about the child. Like, and when y'all know and understand, like, hey, we can be friends, but we can't be together.
We ain't even gotta be friends. We just be cordial for the sake of our child.
Yeah, this ain't what's up. I mean, I can't be miserable just because.
Right.
We can separate. We can live across the street from each other, and we can speak. If you need to borrow some sugar or something like that, I got some sugar for you. Whatever.
I'm gonna even say,
but we just not good together, and people need to learn that every relationship, every marriage is not ordained by God, the universe, whoever you believe in. Some of this stuff we put together ourselves, and God may,
He's gonna shake it up.
He gonna shake it up. He gonna stir it. He gonna mix that pot up for you.
Right. And that's because when it comes to that, we're gonna keep it in there for the folk of religious background, or should I say spiritual background. You got a perfect will and you got a permissive will. And some of y'all decided to get into God's permissive will and then try to figure out why it ain't quite working out. God's perfect will is what he has for you. What he has for you, what God has for you is a part of his perfect will. And some of us don't have the patience to wait on it. So we decide we're going to go out and we're going to do what we want to do. And we're going to consult God about it. And then we think he heard him say yes. And then we get out there and we do that. And because marriage is honorable in the sight of God, he's going to honor your marriage, but you're not in his perfect will because that's not what he had for you. You're in his permissive will. I'm going to permit you to do this because you're my child and I love you and this is what you're doing. And my word cannot be void. Therefore, marriage is honorable. So I'm going to let you do this. But when it's not his perfect will, it comes with some imperfections and it comes with some struggles. And if you can't get through those things, sometimes we end up here.
Yeah, and that's on the divorce cycle. Now, that when speaking of divorce, I see a lot of people that leave because they just don't want to work.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want the work of a marriage.
Right.
Like, I know people who, they want the wedding.
Right. The day, the shindig.
But not the marriage. And this is work, people. I wouldn't lie to none of my single friends and tell them that this ain't work, this ain't hard. People say, y'all this, y'all that, whatever. Man.
We committed to doing the work.
Yeah, and if you don't commit to doing the work, then move on. Like today, I read a comment on Facebook. I can't think of her name right now. I think she's one of your classmates. But she always posts relationship type questions. She always do that. We may need to reach out to her and get on one time. But anyway, the question was, is love
enough?
Is love enough to keep a relationship together?
It's not. And
my response was a little different from what Kanisha said. Because I said the level of love that people love each other, the way they love, no, it'll never be enough. Never be enough. Because love is an action. It's not just the words. So when you love somebody and the two of you love each other, that means you're committed to the well-being of each other, which means you're going to commit to, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to have a job. I'm going to be financially stable. I'm going to be emotionally stable. I'm going to be there to support you.
On purpose.
On purpose. You know what I'm saying? So in that mind frame, love is enough because love is what caused you to do those other things. Now, if you just, oh, I love you because you're beautiful and you're nice and you're sweet, but you don't have what it takes to take that unconditional agape type of love where it's like the commitment to be the best version of you for the person you with and vice versa for yourself first and then for the person you with, then no, love is not going to be enough.
Now, I say love is not enough on either side of it, the feeling or the action, simply because love is definitely based on the feeling, the emotion. And so the things that he just named, as far as I'm going to get a job, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to, as far as the male perspective, for a woman, I'm going to nurture you, I'm going to care for you, I'm going to lift you up when you're feeling down, I'm going to talk to you the way I should talk to you, I'm not going to belittle you, I'm going to, be your backbone, and all these different things that women just naturally are. We nurture. That's the actions that we have. But the feeling, the emotion of all that, like, we do those things when the emotion is connected. When the love emotion is not connected, then those things don't happen. We withdraw on the actions. So I always say love is not enough to keep a relationship healthy and together, because when the emotion stops, usually the action of love stops too. So the commitment needs to be there in order for a relationship to remain healthy.
Yep.
Not just the love, because people fall out of love. Okay, being in love and loving someone are two totally separate things. People fall out of love. Okay, all the time, and it comes, if you are getting married or if you are married. Hopefully we are reaching some people today who are possibly in the decision of, should we separate, should we divorce, what should we do? Let me tell you something. If you are at a point right now where you feel like you are not in love anymore, don't let that be your decision. Don't let that be the determining factor of whether or not you stay married.
I will tell you this. In love
comes and
goes. It's like a roller coaster of infatuation, because in the beginning, that's what most people are. They're infatuated. That's the in love stage. That infatuation.
That cortisol coursing through your blood.
Yeah, that's an illusion. That's an illusion. And that illusion comes and goes like a mirage. Mm-hmm. So, and this is why I always tell people, I've said this, even though I said love can be enough to keep a relationship together, it can be, but it requires some other things. And if you're so wrapped up in the in love portion of it, then love on its own is never going to be enough. And that's why I say, give me your commitment and not your love.
Right.
Like, because if you're committed to me, love comes with your commitment. So give me your commitment, and the love is going to be there.
And in love will come back.
Because
the commitment, when you say, okay, we're going through some bad things, you know what I'm saying? And, he cheated or she cheated, or he spent up all the money with no regard to the home, or she's spending up all the money with no regard to the home, or she disrespects me because her mouth is reckless, or he's disrespectful because his mouth is reckless, or whatever the case may be. When the commitment is there to address the issue and fix the issue, those things go away. It may take a little time, but those things can be fixed and worked out, and they can go on. You can keep moving. Sometimes we go for long periods of times happy, and then as soon as something serious hits, it's like you forget you were happy once upon a time. You forgot that you loved that person. You forgot that this person actually can make you happy, and now you just ready to fall out and be in a puddle. Like, people, you all have to stop. Not some of y'all need to stop being so fragile, and some of y'all need to not allow yourself to become that fragile, that your mind doesn't go back and remember who that person is to you because of a moment. You falling out and having a bad moment, and now all of a sudden you done forgot who that is that you're looking across at. I got to the point, his chewing drove me nuts. I'll be sitting there like,
ooh, child.
it happens. It goes away. It's
Yeah, her breathing will get on my
like I'd
nerves.
be with the pillow. I'd be like he's snoring, and you just be like, it goes away. It goes away. Let it
It's
pass over.
something simple like the way you walk. Like, I'm not feeling your
Oh,
walk today.
I hope they fall, trip on something.
Yeah.
You know, it happens.
But that's human nature. Like nobody is 110% in love, infatuated forever and always. Like that is a fairy tale.
Very much.
Those are TV show dreams that we keep selling people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you end up seeing the reality ratchet TV that gets so much attention because people want the extreme. They don't want the reality. Reality TV is not real.
Not real.
Those fairy tales, storybooks are not perfect endings. Everything is all lovey dovey, happy, happy. That's not real. Real people live in the middle. We're not this extreme ratchet fighting and all this extra going on. And we don't live in a perfect world where everything is unicorns and rainbows. Real people live here in the middle. And you have to learn where in that middle that y'all fit.
Yeah.
What works for y'all in that middle section. And the same thing, all things don't work for everybody. And that's why we always tell people don't use, like, you may use some things we say, some things we did to help us, but don't try to cookie cutter
Don't mirror us.
your marriage, or don't try to mirror our marriage or somebody else's marriage, because otherwise you're gonna put yourself in a whole heap of trouble.
Yeah, because we're individuals. We're all different. So what's working here isn't gonna just duplicate over to you all. It's no carbon copies. And we're every fingerprint different, DNA different. Every marriage is just as unique as the two people in it because of the two individuals in the marriage. So you cannot say my mama, my daddy, my grandmother, my grandfather. You cannot put that kind of pressure on your marriage if there is someone out there that's doing that type of thing, because you are not your grandmother, you are not your grandfather or mother or father. It doesn't matter what they did because that was them.
And then not only that, don't try to take the positive stuff that they did and try to push it into your marriage, and don't take negative things that you saw them do and push that into your marriage.
Right.
Because something looks similar don't make it the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody did something that looks like something somebody else did doesn't mean that's what it is.
Right.
Like, I have a friend, I used to tease her all the time. The minute a guy you're dating does something that resembles something that a previous guy did that you didn't like, you don't even give him a chance. You are out of there. And everybody's different. Everybody's not the same.
Right.
So you have to be able to adjust, adapt, evolve. It's
one of those things where if you're going to separate, you have to know that this is not working out. We, the two of us, we're not going to make it together. And you have to get to that point before you hate each other. Nobody should stay in a situation where the negative, like the resentment and that stuff is just building up and building up and building up. And, well, right now I can't. And all this other stuff, like, you'll never get out of the situation. And by the time you do, something serious could possibly happen. Y'all could have some serious blow-ups. Like, get out of the situation while it's still healthy, while you can still say, you know what, look, I love you based on what just love is, but we cannot do this together. Like, we got to get away from each other because I'm starting to hate you. I'm starting to not like you. And I don't want to be that person. So if that is where you're going, sit down with one another and be like, look, we ain't working. And if the other person is like, oh, but we are, and oh, but we're not. Because it's not working for me. It has to work for both of you. It can't work for one.
It can't be good on one side and bad on the other.
Yeah.
That means it's not working.
It ain't working. So you all need to sit down and have a discussion, especially if there are children involved. This is the one thing that I believe people do that is the most irresponsible thing that could possibly happen, is to separate from one another without ever considering those children.
Right.
That is the most irresponsible thing
Or
that
stay.
that can do, or stay without considering your children, because
They pick up on that negative
the
energy.
dysfunction you're in rubs off on your children, and the dysfunction you cause by just uprooting your life without a plan rubs off on your children. Like some of you mothers, and this I say mothers because I see it in women the most, y'all cause some of the most drama for these fathers when it comes to their children. Whatever your issue is with that father, that's your issue with that man as your man, not those children's issue with that man as their father. And you all need to divide or put a clear line and stop treating him, or stop separating those children from their father, because you're treating their father as your man that you mad at. That is their father. Let him be their father. He ain't your man no more, fine, but he's still their father. Therefore, you still need to communicate with him. You still need to make sure things are easy for him and his children. You still need to make sure you put those people in the space together. Those little people need that man, and that man needs those little people. And that just is what it is. So you have to learn to separate the man from the father. You're dealing with two totally different characteristics at this point. It's not okay, men and women. I'm talking to the women because I was in this boat. It is not okay to separate a man from his children because you're mad at the man. You're not mad at the father, you're mad at the man. Now, if he did something out of order with your children as a father, then hey, let's deal with that. Get the police involved, get CPS involved, or whatever you need to do. Go to family court if it needs to be done so. But if you are mad at the man, then be mad at the man, not the father.
And
those are two totally different characters.
It goes both ways. Men do it to women.
They do.
And they try to take out the dysfunction or the emotion or the hurt that they have for whatever happened with them and that woman, or why them and that woman ain't together, whatever. And they try to distance themselves from the kids like it's punishing the woman.
It's not.
It's not. You just hurting the kids. And people need to learn how to cleanse. Like, you need to learn how to seek deliverance, get you some sage. I mean, whatever it is you need to do.
Holy water,
anointed oil,
prayer cloth.
I don't know what it is with the Muslim. What the Muslims do your 13 hours of prayer. Whatever it is you need to do. To cleanse yourself of that. Like, that's a bad spirit. Like if you need to go drink you some moon water or whatever it is, whatever you believe, you know what I'm saying? You need to cleanse yourself of that, and you have to be open-minded and mature to cleanse yourself of that. Like, he cheated. Okay, fine. She cheated.
He didn't cheat on the
okay,
children.
fine. Like they don't. She slept with your best friend. He ain't your best friend because he wouldn't have slept with your old lady.
Right.
Y'all be tagging these people with titles that ain't theirs, that they don't deserve. But whatever, you have to clean that out. Like, that forgiveness is for you, not for them. Because these people are moving on with their life and you still bitter and mad. I know people who are still bitter and mad over relationships that are 20 years removed. Why are you still mad at people who hurt you 20 years ago? Like, they moved on. You try to move on, but you ain't letting it go. Like, and all you do is you put that negative energy into them kids. Now the kids had a negative energy with their mother or father, whichever it may be, and now it caused frictions between them. In that relationship. Like once again, whatever I said you believe in, if you believe in energy, the universe, spirituality, you believe in Christianity, whatever it is, those things still all apply to all of them. Holding on, unforgiveness, Not cleansing yourself of this bull is gonna keep you miserable. It's gonna keep your children miserable. You just gonna keep passing down misery, unforgiveness, hatred, and bitterness. So now your kids bitter.
Be a generational curse.
So now you got a generational curse of bitterness. They're gonna be bitter with their old man. You don't know how to talk to your old man, so now your daughters ain't gonna know how to talk to the boys they date. You don't know how to treat your wife or your girl, so now your sons don't know how to do these things. We as people, as humans, have to learn how to mature and move on. Like
and mature as is required. Like sometimes we don't have to reach a level of maturity until a certain situation comes up. Sometimes we moving along in life and we haven't had to deal with certain emotions and certain situations and things like that until it happens. And at that moment, you need to grow up in that space. You can't just, decide that you're not going to handle that as an adult.
Right.
I'm not going to adult this situation. I don't want to adult this situation. I'm just going to fall out. You can't do that. Like, where in life can you, in any other space in your life outside of a relationship, where can you come in contact with a situation and just decide you don't want to deal with it? Like, where can you do that? The rent is due. I don't want to pay it. I don't feel like being an adult today. Okay. Let's see how long you can do that.
On your job, same thing. So I'm just, y'all put out, and then you look at your kids and you wonder why your kids act the way they do, or this is instilled. You put this energy in them,
and y'all did it. Y'all threw them over there. They ain't just get over there by themselves. Y'all threw them children off.
And we're gonna speak. So there may be another good segue into
blended
families. So we're gonna cross over. We're gonna cross over into blended families. Know tons of people who are in blended families.
We are in a blended family.
We're a blended family. We have friends who are in blended families, co-workers, whatever. Be that as it may. This is when the maturity comes. And it takes a different type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, to be able to cohabitate with your ex, be it ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, boyfriend, co-parenting, whoever. It takes work. It takes commitment, and it takes being bigger than yourself. You have to step outside of yourself in order to be in a blended co-parenting situation.
Again, this is where you have to separate the man or woman that you're mad at from the parent. And you have to do that in order to have a blended family, or in order for your lives to move forward, because now obviously you're separated and you're going on about your business, you're divorced or however that goes, or just separated if you weren't married, or maybe still in the middle of the divorce and you all have both going on about your business, but you have children and you got to blend these things together. So the worst term, I never used it. I don't like it. I don't have baby daddies. You know what I'm saying? I'm not your baby mama. I am your child's mother. You are my child's father. It was meant to be demeaning from the word go when it was put out there, just like the word nigga was never meant to be in a term of endearment. Baby mama was never meant to be a term of endearment. I've never liked it. So I never let anyone call me that, and I did not call them that. You are my child's father. Okay? I am your child's mother. So
I wasn't that grown, y'all.
Yeah, I didn't there are some people who fit the baby daddy, baby mama stereotype. But the point is that being mature in the situation is what's called for, even beyond your comfort zone, because those little people at the end of the day is what matters. You know what I'm saying? the child doesn't belong to you 100%.
50-50.
Period. I don't care if you consider yourself mother of the year, father of the year. I don't really care. He looks like you or she looks like you 100% or what. I don't care what you think. That is not your baby. Maybe we need to expel that my baby, your baby term. Maybe we need to get rid of that. Our is the word.
We had it together no matter how it came about. This was us.
Ours.
We laid down, we procreated, and now this is our responsibility. And sometimes people can't take, and this is what I would be getting into, my soul ties and all this kind of stuff. People can't get away from the emotions of the sex and the relationship to understand that this is bigger. Now you've brought a life into this world. You have a real responsibility,
right,
to nurture, provide the most comfortable, sensible, mentally and financially stable environment for that child, because they didn't ask to be here.
And they didn't ask for you to separate. They are living life, the life that you provide them with. And you put these children in this situation because they didn't tell you, mama, go separate from daddy, or daddy, go separate from mama, and then let us go from house to house every other week or weekend or however that goes. No child is elected for that. So it's our responsibility as the adults in the situation to figure it out. We have to figure it out. That's not to say that you're going to agree on everything. You're not. That's not. But even if you were in the house together, would you agree on everything?
But you have to be on one accord. You have to have the same plan. Like the same rules that apply over here have to apply over there. Like I can't let the child run wild over here, and when they get to the other parent's house, it's strict discipline. They can't do nothing.
Right.
So it has to be balanced, and y'all have to learn how to talk about those things. Like it took us a while. Like I see some stuff where, like, and once again, I don't know. I want to say this fairy tale because this rich people stuff. If y'all know some regular people who co-parent their families, go on vacations together and all that, y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Like Will Smith and all that, baby, you ain't about to go on no vacation with your ex and the child and without just be gone without me. Like that's some rich people stuff. Y'all playing too much. Y'all doing too much.
Come with me.
That's like the what it was. I saw somebody saying, is it okay? Would you be okay with your spouse or significant other go and spend time with their ex and the child without you, or like no phone calls or nothing like that during this time? Like,
shouldn't even
see, y'all be doing too much.
Yeah.
Y'all be taking stuff to the extreme.
That also is a part of the thing where it says, does the other parent have a say? Like somewhere down the line, the other parent said, let's do this way. And, this is our time with our child together. So we're going to turn our phones off, or we're not going to take calls from our significant others while somebody manipulated that situation. Because I don't see how any man, for sure, is going to go off on a play date with the child and the other mama, and then he got a girlfriend at home or a wife at home or whatever, and then say, oh, I ain't answering my wife or girlfriend's call.
Not on my watch.
That's to appease the mother. So 9 times out of 10, so she won't flip out and then withhold the child and all that other type of stuff. Like, that's some disrespectful stuff.
Yeah, that means she's manipulated or he's manipulated that
Somebody
situation
manipulated something
to the point
you've been manipulated.
Yeah, you've been taken advantage of.
Ran amok.
Mm-hmm.
Led astray. Just troll.
Yeah. So in those instances, like, that's another thing. People use kids as pawns. This is not a chess match. This is not a chess game. This is a young person's life,
Yeah.
mental wellness, and everything that you're playing with. So you have to take that in consideration. Like when y'all, when you like, if y'all don't have,
Some counseling.
if y'all don't have significant others, and y'all want to go on vacations together, even though y'all not together, to take the child to Disneyland and all that other stuff, that's cute. That's beautiful. Do what y'all do, even if y'all ain't together.
It's cute.
But once y'all get in other relationships, especially committed relationships, now it's time to have real conversations because this person's feelings and emotions have to come into play when it comes to that child too, because they are a part of that child's life. So you do have to take your significant other's opinion in with it. That's why if they have somebody else, it works a whole lot better when both sides have somebody else, y'all.
Yeah.
I understand that. I realize it works a whole lot better when both sides have somebody else.
It's not always the case, though.
It's not always the case, but it works better.
Works better.
Because now each of the parents has someone else that they're also accountable to that's accountable to that child as well.
Right.
Don't get in no marriage, don't get in no relationship and think you just dating that person. Because you dating them children too. So that's all a part of it.
Yeah.
So y'all have to be able to have open lines of communication. Now I understand if the person that they end up with is the person they cheated on you with or something like that. Now
That happens too.
That happens. Takes another level of maturity to get to the point where y'all can have conversation, but you're just being cordial for the sake of the child, for the well-being of the child. We ain't gotta be best friends. You ain't gotta send me no Father's Day card, Mother's Day card, text, none of that.
Matter of fact, let's deal with this pettiness right here.
Mm.
You know what you did, so you know I don't like you. So don't even say, hey, how you doing? Don't even do that. Pick up the phone, say, hey, I need to get my baby. When can I get my baby? What time we gonna meet up? What day are we gonna do this drop off pick up situation? What day am I bringing them back? Or however the case may be. Ain't no sense for the pleasantries because you know you dirt. You a whole big old trash bag. If that's what you did, you cheated on me, and now you with the other person that you know you cheated on me with. You a whole garbage pail kid. Okay, so let's not even do the pleasantries because you know that's gonna tick the other person
It's
off.
in your chest.
But you know that's what's gonna happen when you do that.
You got that all in your chest.
I'm saying it with my chest.
Yeah.
And guess what? I mean it. So guess what? You need not be that person. You're an antagonist. You're doing that on purpose.
On purpose.
And that is not okay. Your children feel that too. Like your children feel that energy. You think your children don't see you being petty with their parent? You think your child ain't gonna dislike you for what you're doing in front of them? You think that child don't sense that mother or father is feeling down about a situation and not gonna feel some type of way about that, even if they don't verbally say it? The next time you tell them, hey, little so-and-so, come here, and they catch a little attitude with you and you trying to figure out where that attitude coming from, they see you. They see the whole garbage bag that you are. They see you. But because you're mom or dad, they can't treat you, the way they would like to treat you. So they catch a little attitude that you don't understand what it's about.
But at the same time, the cheater has to make some amends and put some ground rules down because you've
messed up.
You've messed up. You've caused this dysfunction. You've caused this disruption. Mm-hmm. And they always be wanting to blame it on the man, but women cheat too. Women cheat too.
Let me tell you, when women cheat and get found out, you did the most. You did the most because most women that I have seen can cheat, and the only way it's found out is if she's just ready. She tired. She tired of the shenanigans, and it's just it comes out. So when it comes out, it was sloppy.
That's not the point. The point is women cheat. All that extra you just gave.
Well, I say that because she was ready to go.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
But back to my point. See, she trying to take me off the rails, y'all. I done stayed on the track.
No, I'm saying because that speaks directly to the separation most times.
So my point being, when you've done somebody wrong, It's up to you to fix it,
Mm-hmm.
but you cannot be the one who tells the other person how they should
Yeah.
react to being
Can't tell
wrong.
me how to feel.
You can't tell me how long or tell them how long, but sometimes let's not just drag it out. Let's not just
Put an
be
expiration date on it.
let's not be extra. But my thing is, as the person who's done somebody wrong, you need to make it right. But as the person who's been wrong, you shouldn't use that as a crown, as a forever chain around their neck
Right.
to keep dragging them down, because at the end of the day, you're never going to get to the point where it could be whole and wholesome for the child, which is really what it's about. Because everything we speaking to now, y'all, is with kids involved.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to realize that children are children, but for a little while. You are responsible for them, but for a little while. They are adults way longer than they are children. Childhood
Without a
is a
doubt.
brief moment in life. So the stuff that you do to the other parent and against the child and all this stuff, these children find these things out. They figure this stuff out and they have a lifetime to resent you for it.
Yes.
So you have to be very careful how you do these things. Don't be petty with the father or mother.
And
You
stop
can be
talking-
petty with the man or the woman when it comes to that, but don't be petty with the father or the mother. That's two different characters right there.
And
That's
stop-
one person, but that's two different characters.
Stop talking down to your children about their mother, father, whatever. Stop it.
That's not cute.
Stop it. Because certain things kids don't need to know, ain't supposed to know, and it ain't even part of their DNA and their upbringing. Quit bringing those children into y'all adult mess.
Their minds cannot literally, their minds, their brains are not mature enough to handle certain information that you give them.
And you're making them pick a side. You're literally trying to say, pick me over your mom, pick me over your dad. Like, how emotionally and mentally messed up are you that you are so engulfed in that person that you are trying to make your child choose between you and that other parent?
Right.
That's a problem with you. And most of this stuff is a problem with the adult. These are adult problems, adult emotions, adult issues that they don't want to take the time to seek counseling, prayer,
Get some closure.
meditation, whatever closure you need, get it.
And
Because
stop listening to other people tell you how you should be
how
acting.
you should be acting. And because for us now, well, it's been a while. We've been together 17 years, married 15. So we've been in each other's kids' life
all their lives, feel like
pretty much all their lives. Like
over half, definitely.
definitely over half their lives at this point, because none of them are 30. So yeah, we've been in all their lives, over half their lives. So the things we do, the things that we've expressed, the things that we've shown them in front of them, that's molded them for their relationships. And you have to think about that too.
We've tried. We ain't perfect, but we've tried to be the example that of a relationship that our children can see and be like, okay.
Yeah. Even some of the imperfections. Because we don't want them to think everything is rainbows and unicorns, because that's not real life. So we've had this side, these two parents and the other parents. We've had sit downs to where communications about text group, everybody on the polo. I mean, everybody in a text message together, everybody on the phone together. We've scheduled meetings together with the child. Like, we've done all of that because it's about the child. It doesn't work out. It didn't always go hunky dory. It didn't always work, but we always put forth that effort.
We had the goal.
Sometimes we had to bring in the parents to be mediators and sit in.
As in the grandparents.
As
our
in the
parents.
grandparents, like our parents, they had to sit in and be mediators. But you have to you have to be committed. Like you have to be
To your child.
consistent to your child. You're not committed to that other adult. Your commitment is to your child, and through your child, you make the best of the situation with that other adult.
Until they reach an age that you no longer have to deal with that adult. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's one of those things, whereas in a blended family, let's make sure we stick to the blended family. It's me as your wife. You had your child. I had my children. You had your children after we got together. It was children for you after we got together. So at the end of the day, this is my husband. I am his wife. I had 2 children when we married. He had his son. He has another daughter that we ended up getting later on. We found out that he had another child, and hey, let's keep the party moving. It ain't got nothing to do with me. That was before my time. I haven't women, we have to be able to be mature about the situation. What am I gonna be mad about it for? Hey, that was before my time. I know nothing about whatever went on, it went on, and here she is. So come on in, baby. Welcome. But and that's because of the love I have for him. That's his child. He said to me, that's my child. And so what was I supposed to do? If I love you and respect you, I have to do what? Love and respect the child. So, if you, fellas, if you're dealing with somebody who cannot love your children as their own, you have the right to move on.
Right.
Okay? It's not okay. Ladies, if you're dealing with someone who cannot love your children as their own, move on. Your children at this point, if you are in a relationship and you have children before that relationship, your children take precedence in the structure of the relationship. Not how you feel about the other person, but the children take precedence. As I said, we put in our flyer, who comes first? The children come first in the relationship. Now, I say that to say this. My son is 22, soon to be 23. My biological son is 22, soon to be 23. Can he come in my home and disrespect my husband? Hell to the no. Period.
Night, nigga.
Capital P-E-R-I-O-D.
And he swears he is the daddy.
That's my daddy's son.
That's her daddy's son.
I'm telling you.
He swear he the daddy. And the husband and the son.
But he can't come here, and he knows that he cannot disrespect my husband. He knew that growing up as a child. I'm going to tell y'all a situation that happened. My daughter, because they had separate dads. My daughter, he is not the disciplinarian in this house, all right? He whipped my daughter probably 3 times in his entire 17 years of being with me. And she, being the drama queen she is,
extra,
got on the phone and called her grandfather, not her dad, because her dad, my co-parent, knew the game. He already knew, because we know these things about how we decided to co-parent our children. If she's in your home and your wife has to discipline her because she truly did something, so be it. And it was the same thing on our side. And that was the agreement between us as co-parents. That might not be the agreement for everybody, but that was our agreement. So he whipped her behind for something. Normal little way a father would whip a daughter, because y'all some punk ass parents when it comes to these daughters. But anyway, she got on the phone and called her grandfather and said that Corey had hit her in the face. And the grandfather called me. And of course, as grandfather should, he was ready to have war because Corey hit his grandbaby in the face. And I politely talked to him, and then I called his son, which is my daughter's dad, and I told his son, call your daddy and tell him never call me again about what's going on in my house. Because that was his fault. I'm not going to disrespect that. No disrespect ever. It's called being the bigger person and being mature. So I handled him, and then I called his son and said, hey, look, I just had to talk to your daddy. Now you need to reinforce what I said. Get on the phone with your daddy. But I went into the room, and I grabbed the little heifer, and I told her, let me tell you something. Not this day, no other day of your life will you ever cause a problem for my husband. Ever. He didn't do what you said he did. Now you trying to sit up in here and try to make it like somebody had done just hauled off and punched you in the face or something like that. But let me tell you what you're not going to ever do is think that you're going to cause a problem for this man that's up in here that pays the bills over your head, that puts the food on the table and the clothes on your back, and you think you're going to cause a problem for that man. You, ma'am, can kick rocks. Go stay with your daddy.
Y'all, she'd have been put out like 99 times. But the point is, in all that, is that you as the parent also have to instill some things into your child that's still your parent. It may be your
step parent,
bonus parent, additional mom, additional dad, whatever you want to call it. But that is still an authority figure. That is your parent.
That is a parent. And I think that a lot of people forget that extra word. Step parent. That is not just your husband. That is not just your wife. They should have equal authority with your child as you do with your child. If you're in a marriage,
they're not doing anything that's disruptive to your child, mentally, physically, harmful, none of that. That it should be the same equal level. And this generation feels like nobody can do or say anything to their kids but them. I witnessed an argument between two parents about discipline. Like a hard up argument about you do not discipline my child.
I told y'all earlier, ain't no my.
Like she literally told
our child.
That child's father, he is not allowed to discipline the child. And I'm just looking like, oh my.
Right.
That child ain't gonna never have respect for his daddy. And it's a boy.
Or her either.
It's
and when that boy gets older and that testosterone kicks in,
he gonna try his
and the tongue balls drop down, she gonna wish to God
that she had let that daddy be a daddy. I remember one boy. Look, let me not go off the rail. Go ahead.
It is very important that as a blended family, you know when things cut off. Okay, your significant other, spouse, or whomever should have the same authority in your household over your children as you do. You chose them. So if you feel that they can't discipline that child, then you made a bad choice.
Right.
Because there should not be a time or a situation that comes up that you have to wonder or be scared of how the significant other is going to handle your child, to the point where you're telling that person that they can't discipline or can't punish or whatever to your children. You should have picked somebody who is going to love on and discipline your children the same way you would.
And another, to make sure we try to touch all the different scenarios. Another scenario is getting into a relationship and it's a blended family where one of the spouses doesn't have kids. They've never had kids. So now you are also a new parent and a step parent, and you have to deal with the other people,
you don't have children.
That you don't have children, or you have to deal with the other parent as well, right, because they know you don't have kids and they think you like that's another thing where like the person who you're in the relationship with has, if you're the person who doesn't have kids, you're in the person who you're in the relationship with, they have to make an understanding with their child and with their other parent that this is my spouse. No, they don't have kids, but they learning just like right along with us,
Right.
like we had to
We're
learn.
learning to blend.
Then we learning to blend, and you have to teach respect.
And if you married somebody worth anything, their maternal or paternal instincts are kicking in, even though they don't biologically have children. The love that they naturally, grow for your child kicks those instincts in.
And you don't have to have kids to know how to love and take care of kids. People have nieces, nephews, godchildren, kids in the neighborhood that
or they are
they've
just decent people and know how to treat a child.
Or they're just good people. Like it's natural. Like it's natural. It's especially for a woman. I mean, it's innate for them. It's in their nature.
It's in your nature. People know how to care for a child. We can see a child we can see another person's child crying in the salon. For instance, in my job, I can see another person's child crying, and half the salon is like, "Oh,
yeah,
that ain't even our kid."
It's just a natural reaction. Like now, when that's not a natural reaction for you, then at that point something's wrong.
Yeah, you need to wonder who you picked.
Yeah, because like people raised by good parents, they know how well they were raised. They know how they were raised, and that's what they do. That's what they go out for. That's what they instill into the kids they're raising, whether they're theirs or not.
Let's check our gallery. Let's see, is anybody in the gallery having an opinion one way or the other today? And then as he looks at that, I'm gonna bring up a different scenario to this. The parent on the outside of the relationship, like how much say do they have about the child in your household? As a different parent, as the parent on the outside of your house, how far do you let that person go? I feel like because the child is the precedence, that is the most important person in the relationship, the child, because that's somebody that's still growing up. Now, if they're adults, whatever. But if you still have children who are being reared and raised and taught and all these things, that is the most important person in the relationship at this time. So the other parent, like, we have to get to the point where we know our boundaries and we know when to cut things off. And when I am not in a relationship with you anymore, therefore you don't get to tell me how this is going to work. I'll tell you what goes on in my house if I choose to, but you don't get to tell me how this is going to work. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to tell me, don't let this person be doing this and don't let that person be doing that. Hey, you lost the right to do that when we decided to separate. And that is why earlier when we were saying sit down and have that separation plan, that's also a reason why you need to have that separation or divorce plan. Because some people who are having quite struck in the reality that somebody else is going to be around your child.
Yeah.
And you don't get to then keep voicing your opinion on what should be going on in somebody else's house.
Your involvement in somebody else's house is very, very limited. Even when it comes to your child.
Right.
Like y'all have ground rules. This is what we don't do.
Right.
Because we've agreed that that's not how we raise, treat,
co-parenting,
or deal with our child.
Right.
So your spouse has to understand that this is what we've agreed to, that our child is not going to be talked to this way. They're not going to be cussed at.
Right.
They're not going to be beat. They're not going to this, that, and the third.
We don't want to beat them no time,
but
no spanking and whippings.
Yeah, but at that point, that's where it pretty much cuts off.
Right.
Your say so in that house.
Right.
Like you don't you have some say so. You don't want your child dressed in a certain type of way. Right. Stuff like that.
But that's concerning the child.
That's concerning the child.
How,
but anything else that goes on in that house, That has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Now, I will say this. As a parent,
Unless it's something that's detrimental to the child. Like if y'all having wild smoke parties and
yeah,
partying and all this wildness, selling dope and drugs like this, common sense says, okay, as the other parent, you have a say in this.
right.
But for the most part,
I will say this. As a woman, I'm a hairstylist. It's what I do. If y'all, for y'all that don't know, I have seen parents, and I've had the discussion with women where, let me tell you, ladies, what you do not do ever is take another woman's daughter and make any permanent changes to that daughter. You don't send her back with her ears pierced if she didn't come to you that way. You don't send her back with her hair relaxed if she didn't come to you that way. You don't send her back with her hair cut if she didn't come to you that way. That is just basic human decency and respect. If you don't respect that mother, then there are certain things that you need to not involve yourself in when it comes to that child. You need to let the father handle that. And this is me talking to other women, because I have seen some situations where some of you women really get out of order. And you know that if it was your daughter and you sent her away and she came back different with a permanent change that you didn't send her with, you would lose your mind. So don't do something to somebody
that
you wouldn't want done to yourself. So we have to be able to have respect for the other parent. Pick up the phone, call her and say, hey, little Susie over here with me this weekend and I'm going to get my hair done. Is there anything particular that you don't put in her hair? Is there a way that you don't like for her to have her hair? Is this her scalp sensitive? Because you're not with this child all the time.
And if you can't have that conversation, you need to have the other parent have a conversation.
Yes.
And vice versa. As the man, you just don't do certain things with the boys either. It's the same difference.
Same thing.
It's the same difference. Like when one of the commenters is saying, it's so many broken adults, it's hard to co-parent, and it only affects the child. Exactly, and that's what we were speaking about earlier, because they're holding on to old bull,
right?
And they like my daddy say, old bull cone, that they can't move on, and they're so consumed with the man or woman and not the mother or the father that they can't see past them to get to what's best for the child.
It's just not all right to
yeah.
Let's not be disrespectful. You got the man or you got the woman, so you got your win right there. Some of y'all try to superimpose these wins and losses onto the other parent through the child. You try to make you take digs at the other parent through the child. That is not okay. Like, you are a petty and despicable person for doing stuff like that. You should not do that type of stuff. You don't. The deplorables, as Miss Madam Hillary Clinton would say, you're deplorable. You don't do that to people. That is not okay, because if it was me, you raising up my sister soldier, and we don't need to raise up the sister soldier when the children are, we don't want the children to meet the soldiers. And it's not okay to do that to another person, because again, what goes around comes around. Your turn is coming back.
It's coming.
But at the end of the day, don't get riled up and have to put some of us put our spouses in situations. Then we want to rah-rah when the other parent go off. You know what I'm saying? You put that man in that situation when you did what you did, and now the other parent is going off on him because he didn't allow, you just ran off and did it. Or maybe he did allow, but you allowed something to go on with our child that should not have gone on without my knowledge and consent. And now you all upset in your feelings because he getting chewed out by the other woman. Now you won't jump in. You caused the situation.
But y'all could be petty like me and just when the child do something, and be like, that's y'all child. like we do that. Like me and one of her kids' father, we'll be like, that's y'all child.
Yeah.
We put the child on her and
she belongs to one set of parents or the other.
Yeah, it ain't all fours at the same time. No. Sometimes it's like, that's y'all child. Yeah. Do y'all thing.
So it's just one of those things where you recognize our relationship did not work. It didn't work. Now we need to co-parent.
Right.
You know, I hate you. I don't like you. You're ugly. And half of my child is ugly because it came from you. And I recognize that, but it's okay. Let's co-parent.
What?
If he got your nose, he got an ugly nose. I don't like it. I'm just saying. That's where, hey, we get there.
You talking about my nose?
I'm talking, we're
Oh.
talking on the stuff. Hey,
Oh,
didn't
my
I tell you
bad.
about making this stuff about you, man?
You be saying we keep it about us, like we be keeping it focused. Okay, good people. We have about 4 minutes left. If anybody has any questions or anything they want us to catch before we get out of here, you can put it in the comments. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube page, please subscribe to our YouTube page. We are moving slowly. We're getting a little audience more and more on YouTube. If you can watch us on YouTube, so we can get those.
Or if you're gonna share with a friend, share
the
YouTube
YouTube
link.
page. If you're gonna share with a friend,
because
share the
we
YouTube.
delete these things anyway.
Yeah, these
so,
get deleted off of the Facebook. So
to go to our YouTube page is how you can share it again with somebody or something like that. But
if you missed our very first episode, that one's on Spotify. All our previous episodes are on YouTube.
our technician is slow, y'all. He's
Hey, y'all, I'm charging to my heart and not my mind. But
ready to fire him.
I made a promise that all episodes will be on Spotify by July 1st. I promise. They're going to be up. That was my promise.
Oh,
So by July 1st, they'll all be on. We're going to have to get her to do some audio intros for those episodes, but we're going to get those up by July, so you'll be able to look at them on Spotify. You'll be able to tell your friends about it on Spotify. You can
I'm gonna go back and read you all's comments when we get off. I normally do that because I saw a lot of comments today. I hope that somewhere down the line,
like, subscribe, share.
You've liked
on
and
YouTube.
subscribed and shared. But today, specifically about this episode, I hope that something we said has helped or triggered something in somebody's head. Like, oh, I saw myself. That ain't cute. Or I'm not gonna be that person. I'm gonna make a purposeful effort.
Or you know somebody
Not to be
who, or
that
you
person.
know somebody who is that person, and just listen to us is like, I need to pull my friend to the side and have a conversation with them.
Oh, I need to send them this video.
Yeah, I'll send them the video. Send them the YouTube link, please. That's what this was about. Us sharing information for other people to share with other people,
Right.
and they can help somebody.
There was some things that didn't get out with this particular episode because there are a lot of important parts to being a blended family.
Yeah.
And a lot of it wasn't able to be discussed, such as most times with blended families, these other parents, the parents of the parents, talk too much.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like my mama or his mama or dad or whomever, like that part, the parent of the parent, like y'all need to get all the extra noise, clear out the white noise. You know what I'm saying? You all are the people in the relationship. You all are the people that's blending. It has to work for the people in the household. What other people did, that's what they did.
And how it worked.
That worked for them.
That's beautiful.
And 9 times out of 10, it didn't even work for them because you don't even know what you're doing now. So,
like I say, that's cute.
That was cute, And we have to also be big enough and grown enough to say, "Look, Mom,
this ain't your fight,
thank
baby.
you for talking about it, but I got it. Thank you.
This ain't your fight, baby."
But letting the other parent just dictate, and then you don't talk to your spouse about a situation for the sake of them not retreating with the child. That's what the court system is for. You understand what I'm saying? If you're gonna make the other mom, this is for you men, because most times this is who it happens with. If your baby mama, because that's a baby mama move, If your baby mama is retreating with the child because you said or did something that she didn't like, grab you some funds. You and your spouse sit down and put some money together and say, we're going to do this. We're going to get a loan. We're going to do whatever we got to do. But we're going to the family law court. We're going to the family court. And we're going to do this, and we're going to put this thing in paper. Stop being afraid of the courts, fellas. They work in your favor most times. When a judge will side with you more often than not when you come to them on your own versus being brought in front of them, because they see that you are concerned about the welfare of your child first.
Because when you let them drag you in, they feel like you already prejudged as a deadbeat dad, and they ain't trying to give you no leniency. So
you all have to stop allowing the dysfunction to fester. Let's do some things proactively to fix the dysfunction. We send our children out to school broken. Then we wonder why they can't focus in class. Their grades are dropping. It's so much stuff that happens. You're sitting up and you're not letting your husband discipline your son. Then your son gets out to the school, then the teacher can't discipline him.
Right.
They get out to the mall and they do something at the mall, and the security guards tell them something, and they get, it just goes into the community. It does so much.
You have no idea. We're gonna end it with this. I see some people who just joined. Welcome. Hey, this will be up for the rest of the week, so y'all can go back and listen to it and catch it. If not, you can catch it on YouTube. Go to our YouTube page, Passing for Perfect. Like, subscribe, share. But it's so many things that go on when y'all see in Baton Rouge, the crime rate, the murder rate. Those things are so entrenched in our community because of our family structures, our homes,
broken.
Our relationships, our co-parenting is broken, not working, and it's just trickling down to the kids. They have no structure, no guidance, no respect. So where are they going to learn it? Who are they going to show it to if it's not even displayed in their own home because their parents are fighting, cussing, disrespecting each other, talking negative, bad, and not working together? That's where it comes from. Everything starts at home. Everything.
It's learned behavior. And what you expose your child to is who they become. And that's just the bottom line. So if you expose your child to dysfunction, you have dysfunctional children. It just is what it is. So as parents, if we're going to do this blended family thing, let's commit to the children. If you're deciding that you're going to get married, let's commit to the marriage. Kill the committing to one another, because you stop liking the other person after a while. It just happens. You pick it back up down the line somewhere.
Commit to the marriage and not to the other person.
So that way, we don't have to get to this far down to where we have blended families and all this stuff. But if we have a blended family, the next time you commit, make sure you commit to somebody who's willing to commit to the family.
Commit to that child. Commit to the wholeness, the completeness of that child, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, educationally, all that.
All of it. Because some of y'all date, oh my God, this could have been a whole nother segment. But some of y'all date and end up in a blended family with somebody who was just for you. They weren't for the child. They weren't for the children. They was just for you.
That's a whole nother topic. Y'all, we're gonna stop this right here. Want to thank you all for joining us. We appreciate y'all time, spending a little time with these two little black folks. Just having a little conversation. Oh, 3. I forgot our executive producers back, y'all.
Yeah.
For a little while. But thank y'all again. Once again, like, subscribe to our page, Passing for Perfect on Facebook.
Send us topics.
You can send us topics, questions to passingforperfect@gmail.com. Go subscribe, like, and follow our YouTube page. And
Facebook page.
also, you can like and subscribe our Spotify page, Passing for Perfect. It's Passing for Perfect with Corey and Carnisha everywhere. Everywhere. So y'all have a good night.
Thank y'all.
And
hopefully we
help somebody. And once again, please, y'all, we be looking for topics all the time. So passingforperfect@gmail.com is the email. You can send us a topic. You can send us a question. We'll answer questions. We'll answer your question on the live. We'll, if it's a topic you want, we'll make it a topic. We're gonna start trying to be a little bit more active on the page. So if you have a question, we'll anonymously answer the question on the page for you. But all that could come to passingforperfect@gmail.com. You can find us once again on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. We out there. It's all Passing for Perfect with Corey and Carnisha.
He's Corey.
And she's Carnisha. Y'all have a good night. And that's Nala. Say hey, Nala. Tell the people good night. Say good night, Gracie.
Good night. Really?